Hey everybody, welcome to the Mana Leak. I'm John as always, and today is Christmas Eve, and there's a top 10 list, and it's holiday themed, hence the background behind me. It is the top 10 holiday cards in Magic the Gathering. So for those of you who don't know, every year, Wizards of the Coast sends out Christmas cards. Many companies do this. They send them out to their employees, contractors, vendors, etc. Most of them are boring Christmas cards. With Wizards of the Coast, they send out magic cards that are promotional and made just for these vendors, contractors, etc. The most common place you'll see these is your local store. Your local store owner will have gotten one of these Christmas cards, assuming they're an actual WPN store. They're very fun cards. They're silver bordered, so they're not legal in any format unless you allow it. Something like Commander or Cube. I actually do have a holiday card in my Cube, and I'd like to get one or two more. But they're just kind of fun. They often reference other cards, a lot of puns everywhere, funny art, all kinds of stuff like that. But we're going to go through the top 10, and there are exactly 10 cards. So this isn't really a top 10 list. Number 10 is, in fact, the worst card in this group of cards. So beware of that. Number 10 is actually the worst. I don't like it. It didn't just make the list. It would have been off the list if there were 11, probably. But without further ado, we're going to get right onto the list. At number 10, we have a split card. We have Naughty and Nice. The art here, of course, is referencing Diabolic Tutor. That's the guy from Diabolic Tutor. And then in the Nice side, it turns out he's not actually covered in blood. He's covered in cherry pie filling. So Naughty is 1 black for a sorcery. Search another target player's library for a card, and then put that card into your hand. Shuffle that player's library. Nice is search your library for a card and put it into another target player's hand, then shuffle your library. So it's kind of a tutor where you get to take something from an opponent's deck and put it in your hand, or give an opponent something from your deck, put it into their hand. I'm not terribly excited by this one. I figure this has maybe some draw to people who really like their political commander games. So, you could use Nice to say, well, hey, let's make an alliance. Don't attack me. Here's a Primeval Titan. Or whatever your commander deck might happen to have in it. It would have white in it at least. Actually, it would have to have white-black, I think, to play this card. My rules knowledge on commander isn't totally up to snuff, so who knows if I was right there. But you could use it to bribe a player. Some fun stuff could happen with the Naughty side, getting something out of an opponent's deck put into your hand. There's obviously some logistical issues there because that will be a different sleeved card, so they'll know which card is theirs, which may make it easier to discard, things like that. But overall, I just kind of feel like this falls a little bit flat. It's a very relatively boring card. It definitely does something that Magic cards don't usually allow you to do, that is playing with other people's cards out of their deck in your hand. But yeah, even the art's kind of it's a fun reference to Diabolic Tutor, but it's just not that exciting. And that's why it definitely gets kind of bottom of the list here. That was Happy Holidays 2012, Naughty and Nice at number 10. At number 9, we have last year's card, Happy Holidays 2014. It says Mishras Toy Workshop. Mishras Toy Workshop is a land that says tap, add 3 colorless mana to your mana pool, or add diamond, as it will say now. Spend this mana only on spells and abilities that put tokens onto the battlefield. Use toys to represent the tokens. And I often love the flavor text on the cards. There was none on Naughty and Nice. But the flavor text here is, even though Urza tried to apologize, Mishra continued to bear a grudge. Because he's making bears, see? Yeah, I don't really like this card either. It's, again, one of the holiday cards that really feels like just a boring Magic card. If you took away that last sentence of use toys to represent tokens, this literally could be a card printed in any set that had a tokens theme. Like, I would almost expect this at some point, other than the fact that 3 colorless mana seems a little bit, or a lot bit, like a lot. This would have to be like a mythic, I would think. But yeah, it just kind of falls flat as well. The last sentence doesn't even sound that fun. Like, yeah, it'd be cool to have little toys representing your tokens, but I know a few people who do that anyways. Like, this card just really falls flat. Flavor text is cool. I'll always love references to Urza and Mishra. That's way back when I first started Magic. But overall, this just kind of falls flat and is fairly boring as far as the holiday cards go. So number 9, Mishra's Toy Workshop. At number 8, we have Happy Holidays. I can't read the text on that. I think it says 2008 possibly. Gifts Given. This, of course, is a reference to gifts Ungiven, which is a well-known card, big in Modern. I'm guessing probably big in Legacy. I don't know Legacy through and through. Maybe banned in Modern, actually. Not sure on that. But it's 3 and a blue for an instant that says, search target opponent's library for 4 cards with different names and reveal them. That player chooses 2 of those cards, put the chosen cards into the player's graveyard, and the rest into your hand. Then that player shuffles his or her library. Gifts Ungiven, of course, is you look in your library for 4 cards, show them to your opponent. Your opponent gives you 2, and the other 2 go away. This one is just kind of like the naughty side of Naughty and Nice. You're getting to go into your opponent's deck and pull some stuff out and take them. This is still fairly boring and fairly functional. Taking cards out of your opponent's library, that's fun, that's wacky, that's something you can't really do in most Magic games with most Magic cards. But I like my holiday cards to be fun and random and wacky and unique, and this just isn't here. It has flavor text. It says, thanks, you shouldn't have. Even the flavor text is kind of boring. I do like the parallels to Gifts Ungiven, though, even in the art, where she's kind of, wrapping up these presents for somebody, as opposed to the Gifts Ungiven art, which is a little bit darker. Yeah, not a fan. It's a good card, and I don't want my holiday cards to be good cards. I want them to be fun cards. So Gifts Ungiven, number 8. At number 7, we have this year's card, the one that just came out. Store owners would have gotten this probably 2 weeks ago or so. I think I saw my local store owner get his copy. Goblins Sleigh Ride, 1 and a red for a sorcery. Says target creature you control climbs onto Goblin Sleigh Ride. You slide them on their merry way. If the creature stayed on, it deals damage equal to its toughness to each other creature touched during the slide. The flavor text is, what fun it is to ride and sing a slaying song tonight. This is this year's card, and we're out of boring territory. We're into fun, wacky stuff, which I like. I'm not the biggest fan of dexterity cards, though. Chaos Orb, Falling Star, I think, is the much less commonly known one, just because Magic cards are really hard to do dexterous things with. I try to flip a Chaos Orb, and it just never works. And I don't see Goblin Sleigh Ride being any easier. Putting a creature card on top of it and being able to whatever slide them on their merry way means, as a judge, let me tell you, there's no precedent for that ever. It just seems hard. I feel like the creature would always come off, or you would never hit what you wanted, which is fun, which is random and fun, but I'm just not a super big fan of this one, just because of the difficulty of actually getting it to work. I also think it would probably been slightly cooler as an equipment, so you could equip the creature, and maybe the creature died when you flicked it, because it was a really bumpy ride or something. I think I would prefer it to be Goblin Sleigh as opposed to Goblin Sleigh Ride, I think. But still a fun card, and we're out of the boring territory, so I'm pretty happy for that. So number 7, Goblin Sleigh Ride. Number 6, we have another punny card, You Will Lose. Not You Will Lose, but You Will Ooze. It is 2 red-green. It is from Happy Holidays 2011, the card says. It's a creature ooze. It's a 1/1 for 4. That's not good. But at the beginning of your upkeep, destroy another non-land permanent chosen at random. Yours, your opponent's, anybody's, at random. Then put a number of +1/+1 counters on You Will Ooze equal to the permanent's converted mana cost. So this thing's very rapidly going to become 2/2, 3/3, 9/9, 10/10. Who knows what you're getting? It's totally random. For red and a green, and also eat some food, you can regenerate You Will Ooze. The flavor text is, it loves having family for dinner. Read that as you will. This is a fun card. It's nice and random. I really like chaos in my unglued holiday type cards. I love Momir Vig. I do love randomness here and there. As much as I rant and rave about how much I dislike Hearthstone, I do like a little taste of it, especially in my super casual kind of stuff, which is where, these cards would be played. They would be played in super casual Commander, super casual Fun Cube, things like that. The regenerate clause on this is a little bit tricky depending on where you are and whether or not you expect to play this card. If this is in your Commander deck and your Commander group allows you to play them, then you're probably going to bring some snacks with you, right? You're going to bring, a bag of peanuts or something and pop some in your mouth when you want to regenerate it. If you draft this at a store, you better hope that store sells some snacks and you have some money to run up to the counter and buy some snacks every time you want to regenerate this. But yeah, it's a fun little card, clever flavor text. I really like that. And just a fun little card. that I also didn't realize was a pun until I read it out loud as I was preparing for this video. I read it as "you'll ooze," and then when I said it fast, I realized, haha, you'll lose. Next up at number 5, we have Snow Mercy. Of course, a pun on No Mercy. This is 2 white for a snow enchantment from Happy Holidays 2010. Some of the text is hard to read on these cards. Whenever a creature deals damage to you, put a globe counter on it. And then tap, untap, tap, untap, tap to tap all creatures with globe counters on them. The flavor text is warning, shake gently, content may cause choking, hypothermia, and or planar invasion. Whenever I see the untap symbol, which was real, if you haven't seen it before, it exists. It was in, I want to say Lorwyn, maybe it was in Shadowmoor. It was in one of those 4 sets that I wasn't around for. And anytime I see the untap symbol, I kind of have to question reality because I wasn't around for it. I wasn't around to play with it, and I see it so rarely. I don't think there's any real kind of competitive playable cards that have the untap symbol. But even better is it being tap on tap, tap on tap, tap, because of course you're shaking the snow globe up. Really good design as well, in that the globe finishes tapped. So if something else got a globe counter after you shook the snow globe up, you can't shake it up again that turn. Cool little mechanic there. The usefulness of the card isn't that great, though, because, of course, you're going to have to be hit by something in order for this to be effective. In order for it to be really good, you're going to need to have been hit by a lot of things, at which point I guess you get to keep them tapped down, but your opponent's probably going to keep playing things. So it's probably not the most useful a card unless you have a way to spread globe counters around. But come on, you're shaking a snow globe in magic mechanics form. That's awesome. I love that. I would probably like to get a copy of this for my cube, I think, just for the fun of it. Just, maybe even just for holiday cubing. I might take it out during the summer or something like that. But I really, really like this card just for that tap on tap, tap on tap, tap. So yeah, number 5, Snow Mercy. Next up at number 4, we have Season's Beatings. Of course, a pun on Season's Greetings. This is red, and this is from Happy Holidays 2009. Thankfully, it's on a white background there, so I can actually read it. It says it's a sorcery, and it has Family Gathering, which is, I love, templated as a reminder sort of ability word or keyword or whatever it is they call it, despite, of course, the fact that this is the only Family Gathering card that exists. It says each creature target player controls deals damage equal to its power to another random creature that player controls. Its flavor text is, arriving home, he suddenly longed for the blood-soaked battlefields behind him. I hear ya. I hear you, Goblin Man. All right, so, this is more randomness. It's more random removal of your opponent's team. I enjoy just how varied this could be. You could get really unlucky and every single one of your creatures hits the same one of your opponents. Even more unlucky, every single creature that wouldn't kill another creature hits the one that it wouldn't kill and nothing happens. Or, of course, you could get a total board wipe. Maybe even with some triggered abilities, who knows? Crazy stuff could happen. What I find really funny about this, though, is that this is a parody, jokey magic card meant for the most casual of gatherings and would never be allowed in the actual game of Magic. This is a card that I would be shocked if it isn't in Hearthstone already. So I complain about Hearthstone's randomness, of course, but I feel like this is a card that Hearthstone would just drool over as a legitimately includable card in their normal sets. So I do love that kind of aspect of it. But this is just a fun sort of removal card with randomness, which I'm a fan of when I'm doing sort of casual fun cube with my group at the store or something like that. So yeah, Season's Beatings, number 4. Next up at number 3, we have Evil Presence. Not Evil Presence. It's a pun, of course. I believe there's actually a card called Evil Presence. I'm pretty sure there is. This is 2 black, Happy Holidays 2008. It's a sorcery, and it says put a creature card from your hand into play under target opponent's control. That creature attacks each turn if able. That doesn't sound very good. ... And it always attacks its controller. And of course it says, 'tis better to give than to receive. Not terribly clever there. This is kind of like the Jar Jar Binks card, actually, that I gave number 1 on my Star Wars The Gathering top 10 list last week, which if you haven't checked it out, you should. I like the idea of giving your opponent a creature that is really going to harm them. In this case, literally, Jar Jar Binks harmed them by tapping things down and just generally being a bit of a dick. This one, the creature is gonna be smashing into your opponent's face over and over and over. It's going to be tapped, assuming you didn't give them a vigilance creature, which wouldn't be the best of ideas, so they can't even chump block with it or anything like that. They're going to have to waste removal on one of their creatures. Even better if you put this on something, or you get something out that has an enter the battlefield effect that would, mill or do something against the opponent that's being damaged. Lots of fun things that can be done here. Of course, the creature has to be in your hand, so there's a slight restriction, but still really fun and something kind of outside of the usual realm of Magic. So number 3, Evil Presence, card I really want in my cube, so I'm going to be searching out a version of this. At number 2, we have Stalking Tiger, not S-T-A-L-K, but S-T-O-C-K. He's made of a stocking, and he's eating what appears to be a sock rat, or sock reindeer, I think. You tell me. This is from Happy Holidays 2013. It is 5 generic mana, artifact creature cat construct. This is the card I actually have in my cube. I have a copy of this. Stalking Tiger enters the battlefield with a sealed magic booster pack under it. When Stalking Tiger deals combat damage to a player, unwrap the booster pack and put it into your hand. The whole thing, all 15 cards. It's a 3/3, and it says, just hope yours isn't full of coal golems. Yeah, I like this card because I like adding booster packs. I like Booster Tutor, and I don't have a copy for my cube, so this was one of the things I wanted to put in my cube. Anyways, it's very expensive. 5 mana for a 3/3 is a lot to pay, but that payoff can be huge, especially when that booster pack is another cube booster, which is what we always do in my cube. I think it would be really fun if I actually got some old sealed booster packs and threw them in my cube box, and when somebody got Stalking Tiger, they got to take maybe a random booster pack out of the sealed boosters there. Huge investment, and I probably wouldn't keep doing it over and over and over. I'd do it maybe, I would buy maybe 5 or 6 packs, and that would be it for Stalking Tiger until I felt like restocking at some point. Of course, I'm sure my shop owner would love it as well if I just said, well, if you play this card, you have to go up to the counter and buy a pack. Maybe that'll be something that happens. Maybe somebody will choose to do that. The only downside, and it's totally logistical, is keeping track of what you opened and put into your hand that's not actually in your cube pool. Bit of a pain. Obviously works a lot better in Commander because you don't really have to care about that. But yeah, Stalking Tiger is really fun. I love introducing cards from outside of the game into the game, mid-game. Fun thing, doesn't happen in regular Magic. I really like it. Stalking Tiger, number 2. Finally, at number 1, the absolute best holiday card, in my opinion anyways, is Fruitcake Elemental, the first holiday card. Happy Holidays 2006, it says. 2006, 2015, yeah, that's 10 years of holiday cards. 1 green for a creature elemental. Fruitcake Elemental is indestructible. Of course, Fruitcake doesn't go bad. It's just always there and always there. At the end of your turn, Fruitcake Elemental deals 7 damage to you. It's a 7/7. So how are you going to stop that 7 damage? Well, you can pay 3 generic mana, and target player gains control of Fruitcake Elemental. You can pay 3 mana and pass it along. Pass it to somebody else, just like real fruitcake. The flavor text is lengthy. It says, experiments intended to create the perfect holiday emissary resulted in a substance harder than dark steel and a fraction as merry. Really good flavor text on it. I love this card. It's sort of like Evil Presence in that it's all about giving your opponent a creature that messes with their game plan, but that sort of thing continues to happen throughout the game. That player is going to pass it to somebody, and then that player is going to pass it to somebody, and then that player is going to pass it to somebody. And this whole game of don't tap out happens. Because, of course, if you tap out and you don't have Fruitcake Elemental, or sorry, if you do tap out and you don't have Fruitcake Elemental, then some opponent who has it can pay 3, and suddenly it's yours. And end of turn, you take 7. Also really kind of fun is that Fruitcake Elemental is probably never going to not have Summoning Sickness, unless somebody has something that gives it haste. Because if you have just been given control of it, it's going to have Summoning Sickness. And if you keep it through the end of the turn, you're going to take 7. So by the time it loses Summoning Sickness and can actually attack and be a 7/7 indestructible, which is awesome, you've already taken 7. Which is a huge part of your life total. So I love all of the little kind of mini metagames that would happen when this card gets introduced. I think it just warps the game so much and changes things, and just introduces a whole little mini game into the game of Magic you're currently playing. Fruitcake Elemental, I desperately want one for my cube. Super, super, super want one. I'm not sure how rare they are. I should probably go after this video and look it up, see how much they are. But I would love to have one. Number 1, Fruitcake Elemental. So that's going to wrap it up for Top 10 Thursday for this week and possibly for this year. I don't know if we'll be able to get one done next year. But hopefully you enjoyed this list. Definitely let me know what your favorite holiday card is. Do you like Naughty and Nice? Do you like the Dexterity Goblin Sleigh Ride? Do you agree Fruitcake Elemental's number 1? Let me know in the comments down below, especially if you've played with the cards, if you've actually have experience using these cards, because I know a lot of people just have never seen them even. But let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me on Twitter at TheManaLeak. That's L-E-E-K, like the vegetable, not the card. And you can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/TheManaLeak. You've already found me here on YouTube. You've got the comment section down below. As I said, please make use of that. As well, if you do enjoy my videos, please click the like, thumbs up button and subscribe, because you want to know as soon as the latest videos come out, especially those spoilers that we are counting down the weeks to now. I believe it should be 2 weeks before the first spoilers start to appear on this channel. Maybe like an extra day or 2 after that. But subscribe so you know the second those come out. Finally, as always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you all next time.